Hey, how y'all doing? Oops, I threw you a curve, didn't I? That ain't my usual introductory line, is it? Might sound like somebody you've heard before. Think on it for just a second. Probably sound real familiar to some of you. If not, let me try this again.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Now does it sound familiar? If not, you in for a real treat. I want to tell you about a good friend of mine. He's been a teacher, a mentor. His name is Donald. I've mentioned him many times in my videos. His YouTube name is Webcajun. Down south, he's known as the Bayou Gardener. He has a website, BayouGardener.com. Off of that, he runs the Bayou Forum, a place where people can come in all across the world if they want to. Come in, ask questions, and get an educated answer from somebody. You got gardeners from just about everywhere. Not much them folks haven't seen. So if you got a gardening situation that you can't find an answer for, stop by the Bayou Forum there. Somebody will point you in the right direction. Now, I told you he was a teacher. He's taught me a whole lot about gardening. And somewhere along this video, there might be a few tips or things that might be of help to you. So let me make this suggestion here real quick.
Before we start, you may want to pause the video and get you a tablet and a pencil so you can take notes, because if you don't do this exactly right, it won't work. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll get started.
Now, way back when I first started watching Donald's videos, I come across a video where he was sharpening the blades on his lawnmower. Now, I would always take my mower and drive it up the ramps. There he was, had an electric hoist raising the whole front end of it up. Then I'd crawl up under it after I got up on the ramps with a ratchet and trying to get them bolts loose so I could pull the blades off. There he was sitting in a rolling chair with an impact wrench, making it look real easy. When I saw that, I knew right away that was a smart fella, and I need to find out what he knew. Y'all have seen some of the grass that I have to cut around here, just a small glimpse of it, but I tell you what, when you get your property cleaned up, get all the grass and trimming done, that is a beautiful sight. I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Some people hate cutting grass. I don't. It just makes the place look so much better.
But when I started out looking for gardening videos, I come up on a farm. We had the old Master Ferguson 35s, and we'd lay off them rows, and that's how we did our gardening. I was looking for somebody with a tractor and a plow. A lot of people these days are doing their gardening in raised beds and containers and stuff like that. When I was coming on, we always had them long rows that went on for a while.
I got the row hippers on the tractor. Let's go draw some rows.
Y'all have heard me talk about the advantages of planting in a furrow many times. You plant your stuff in a furrow, you come by and water it, the water stays right there, it doesn't run down the side, makes it a whole lot easier on you. Wonder where I learned that from.
Now I'm going to make the furrow right on the top of the row. That's to plant the seeds in.
People all across the country, pretty much all across the world really, have benefited from what Donald has done, the videos he has posted, the knowledge he shared with people. One of the things that he is noted for is growing candy onions. Y'all have seen me grow some great big ones here in the last couple of years. And I told you, who taught me how to do that?
Now that's what I call an onion. To give you an idea of just how big these onions are,
one of the things that really help your garden grow, whether you got a big row garden or whether you're doing containers or beds or whatever you're doing, having some good compost to put in there. Now you can build your bins and get in there and turn it with a pitchfork, or get the barrels, buy them, or make your own and roll that stuff, make the compost tumblers. A lot of different ways to do it. All of them work just fine, but this is what Donald did.
okay, here it is. Amazing, isn't it? This is simply a spot where I pile up my leaves, sawdust, wood chips, and waste out of the garden.
One thing I'm kind of noted for, I guess, is growing tomatoes. I grow right many of them. Do pretty good. Still got a long ways to go to get to where I want to be though. But when I first started out, this was the cage I was using, this little bitty guy right here.
This is the size cage that I started with in the spring.
It took me about 60 days to realize that this thing right here would make a much better cage for my bell peppers.
Make some good bell pepper cages though.
I knew I had to come up with something a whole lot bigger than that little bitty thing.
Or this one is what I'm replacing that one with. But it's 5 feet tall and about 22 inches across.
These 5-foot cages right here, they get the job done. Now plants are just like people. From time to time, they get thirsty. And some of them kind of take a liking to the British over there, where they like to have a spot of tea once in a while. Compost tea, that is. Y'all have seen my compost tea set up in the past. Talked about it a couple of times here and there. Is there any doubt where I learned how to do that stuff?
Today, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to brew compost tea for the garden.
Now when you're trying to do some serious gardening and you got a lot of land to work, it's good to have a tractor to go out there and do that plowing, lay off your rows, run your cultivator to knock them weeds back. But one other thing that's really helpful around a place is having a golf cart. And you gotta love a fella who would take a golf cart and turn it into a multi-purpose gardening machine. He's even nicknamed it the unit.
I'm going to plant the peas by hand, but I'm going to do it the lazy way. We'll use the unit. I'm going to drop a seed about every 3 to 4 inches.
Now all through this video, I've showed a lot of things what Donald taught me and he's taught other people, and nothing has been complicated. I have talked in the past about keeping things simple. I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Now this probably isn't what you expected to see, but you ought to know me by now. I like to keep things as simple as possible.
So if y'all haven't seen any of Donald's videos, I'm going to put some links down at the bottom of his to some of the favorite ones I like to watch. I sometimes go back and just watch 3 or 4 of them at a time just to remember the early days, so to speak. So Donald, on behalf of all the members of the Bayou Forum that you've helped so much over the years, on behalf of all the YouTubers, the people who've made the videos, emulated your style, the people who have watched and learned from you, and on behalf of my family who has benefited quite a bit from having more food production, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for leading the way and being the person that you are. If we could all make it through this world and get up to the point where we were like you, sir, it would be a much better world. Y'all take care, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time. And Lash Pa.